Hello friends, today we have a course called Consumer Behavior. So basically we'll talk a little bit about consumer behavior and we'll simply try to understand what's the definition of consumer behavior, what constitutes consumer behavior itself. So before I begin, I must tell you a few things. That is, consumer behavior is a domain which actually derives from various other domains itself. So it takes a color from economics, it takes color from psychology, it takes color from sociology, it takes color from anthropology. So all such things, if you take lot many things from these papers, so we actually make it a consumer behavior itself. So what we are going to study in today's lecture, feel first please to understand, is the consumer behavior related with marketing or marketing related with consumer behavior? So here we have two circles. You can see at times we do conceptualize consumer behavior being part of marketing, and at times we also do conceptualize marketing being part of consumer behavior itself, right? So all this philosophy of consumer behavior and the marketing are interrelated. Let me just give you one example. So the moment we are studying the consumer behavior, the moment we are trying to understand the psyche of the consumer, how the consumer behaves in a market position, and we do use a lot of marketing techniques in order to reach to that particular consumer. We do a lot of techniques in order to understand that sort of a consumer itself in our marketing approach, the way we are approaching the consumer itself. So we can comfortably say that marketing and consumer behavior, they all are related with each other. They are not at all separate domain itself. So at times people used to call it that consumer behavior is part of marketing, or in other words, they used to say that marketing is a part of the consumer behavior itself. Obviously, it is an offshoot of the marketing itself that we know, but yes, consumer behavior also derives a lot many things from other domains, as I mentioned, from economics, from anthropology, from psychology, from sociology, all such aspects it actually carries along with it. The moment we talk about a journey of a consumer, so what's the journey of the consumer itself? So the moment somebody born in a Hindu family, the moment somebody born in a Muslim family, the moment somebody born in a Christian family, so we do notice that the way they behave in a market condition, the way their demand is going to be, is actually takes a lot of color from the family they belong to. So if you are in the Muslim family, your eating habits, the way you wear the clothes, the way you celebrate certain the rituals or certain traditions or certain festivals are going to be different, and that again influences lot many things in terms of your consumption that you are going to make in a marketplace. The kind of schooling that we have, let's assume if you have studied in this sort of a school, maybe Africa or some remote part of the country, if you are schooled like this, or if you are schooled like this, or the third one, if you can say, if you are schools like this, at times we need to figure it out as to what sort of schooling has happened, what sort of infrastructure was around in the school itself, and what sort of students were part of that school itself. That again shapes the mind of the consumer, and that actually shapes the way the consumer is going to behave in the market conditions. Your gender, whether you're a female, whether you're a male, or whether you are transgender, again that is going to influence upon you, the way you behave in a marketplace, the way what sort of requirements do you have in a marketplace. That's going to shape a lot many things. Let's take one simple example. If I talk about the color, so at times in journal we can summarize that if you like pink more, that means people used to say you are more feminine. If you are talking about the blue in journal, people used to say that you are more masculine, that particular characteristics over there. The point I'm trying to make here is that the gender at times also influences the way you choose certain things, the way you dispose of certain things, the way you actually behave in a marketplace itself, right? So these two things that I talked about, one is the gender, the other one is the schooling. At times you don't choose. Your parents do choose about your schooling. Gender, nobody chooses. You actually get it. But let's talk about occupation. So what sort of occupation you have? Again, that actually shapes. So whether you are a student, whether you are a working professional, whether you are in a government job, whether you are having a shop, or whether you are working for a particular company itself, that again shapes a lot many behavior that the consumer actually dispose or displays in the marketplace itself. So let's see this sort of a definition, and I have highlighted few points into this particular definition itself. So one is the consumer behavior is a study of how individual customers, groups or organizations select, buy and use and dispose ideas, goods and services to satisfy their needs and wants. On the other hand, the similar sort of a definition is the consumer behavior is a process whereby individuals decide whether, what, when, where and how and from whom the purchased goods and services are going to take place. So that's a broader definition I have brought for you. A lot many things do influence us. At times our personal factors, our economic factors, so how much we earn, our perception, our motivation, our income, maybe the life stages at which we belong to, whether you are a child, whether you are a young adult, whether you are just joined the workforce or you are about to retire from the workforce itself, the way you learn things, the way what sort of a lifestyle do you follow, what are the social factors that influences, which class of the economy you belong to, which culture you belong to. Even if we take the example of India, so culture defines a lot many things. So we know that there are hundreds of India lives in one India itself. So whether you are from South India, whether you are from Northeast, whether you are from a central part of the country or a northern part of the country, that again shapes a lot many things, the way we behave, the way we eat certain things, the way we practice our religion, influence a lot many things about the way we behave in a marketplace itself. So I'm going to just simply, I'm going to list it down. What are the 5 major factors that influences the consumer behavior itself? So one major important thing is what are the psychological factors. So whether I talk about the individual's motivation level, whether I talk about the individual's perception level, whether I talk about the way our attitudes are shaped, again all these factors are being considered as psychological factors, and they actually influence. The research actually suggests these influence a lot many on our intent and the way we behave in the marketplace. The second is the social factors. So which class of the society you belongs to. And when I'm saying the social factors, I'm also talking about which sort of economic factors or social class that you belong to. If I talk about cultural factor, if I talk about personal factors and the economic factors. So all such factors that I listed down, all these factors, because the research actually suggests that all these factors influences on our purchase intent, and the purchase intent finally influences the behavior of the consumer itself. So all these factors are being considered as very important factor itself. That's why I believe that the course of consumer behavior should be considered and should always be taken as on the priority, because we do believe that the consumer is a king. Consumer is at the core of the marketing philosophy itself, and we need to understand the consumer, because without understanding the consumer we cannot actually shape our product, we cannot prepare our product, we cannot offer the products to the consumer itself. So the moment we understand the consumer, and then according to the needs and wants and the demand of the consumer we frame our product, and then we give the products to the consumer, will be in a comfortable position to actually meet the demands of the consumer itself. So that's all for the today's session. Thank you so much.